Hello there, and welcome to this very impromptu video on the power supply system I'm using for my 3D printer. I will quickly show this just because it's there, but mainly this video was actually meant to be about this power supply here, so I'll go over that first. This is the Meanwell LRS -350-24, as you might be able to read there, if I have gotten this in focus. Who knows? My camera seems to be doubting me. It's blinking in focus, out of focus. Anyways, this is a really good power supply. It's the first actual proper power supply I bought. I have a few I got from some projects. Here's another Meanwell power supply. It's rather huge compared to the output. This is a 5 amp output. Just for comparison, this is a power supply case I've printed for another Meanwell power supply. This is also 5 amp, 5 volts compared to this. So this will be quite a bit smaller and actually has connectors in it too. Though I think the bigger one over there has some more features. That's not really what this is about. So this is going to be, yeah, just quickly going over this. This has 350 watt output, so that's what, 14.6 amps, it says, nicely labeled. At 24 volts. I got this because I kind of need it sometimes when I'm using a heated bed, but most of the time I'm not. It has a temperature controlled fan, so this only kicks on when it's hot enough. And more importantly, this is a really nice fan. It's not whiny, it's not rattly, it doesn't make any annoying fan noises. It makes a nice soft fan noise. It's definitely something you can hear if it's quiet in your room, but if the 3D printer is running, you will barely hear it over a normal 3D printer. So you might notice that over here I also have another power supply. This is also a Meanwell power supply. This is an RS-15-3, so no, -5. It's a 3 amp 5 volt power supply, so 15 watts. So you might be noticing a pattern here in the naming scheme. I love their naming scheme, it's nice and simple. Series, which is a combination of letters, wattage, voltage. It's really nice. For the curious, the bigger power supply I just showed you is an RS-25, oh no, sorry, it's an S25-5. The one I've got on order for this case here is an RS25-5. I don't know what the S series is. I know the RS series is just bare bone, really cheap power supplies. Anyways, so yeah, it's a universal power supply like most are nowadays. Gotta switch it if you want that goodness though. But one of the main features that you could probably also just see here, and that I needed because I have to fit it in a tight space, is that it's only 30 millimeters high. It is very thin, it's very compact. And it's seriously impressive that they can manage to keep this compact and quiet at the same time. Right, come on camera, you can focus. There we go. Well, I have to focus for it, but yeah. So let's. I mentioned that I'll also quickly go over what this contains. This red housing here. So I'll just get these screws up. So one thing I've noticed actually. This is one of these swanky screwdrivers where you can pull out and then swap bits like that. But it's actually really nice because it's nice and heavy and you can hold it down here and just spin it. So it keeps spinning for a little while. So yeah, it's pretty handy. It won't help you much in screws like this, which have a lot of resistance on them, but hey. And this screw I have to screw the entire way out because it actually has a nut fairly close to where to this side. Almost there. There we go. And then the remaining two should. I can't believe I did that again. I did this video once before, but my camera decided that it didn't want to cooperate. So yeah, done that once per video now. Cool. So only this part of the case comes off. In here is nothing special, just some wires, quite a lot of wires actually. So I'm happy I don't have to take that apart. If we look here, you can see just how many wires go in and out of there. Well, maybe you can, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, this is a bit more than what you might expect in a power supply case. So what we have here is 220 volts comes in here through a normal IEC plug, C14 I think, yeah. It goes in here and right, then it goes through this channel here. Oh, this has been squeezed a bit, I think I put it in, it's fallen out of this channel. So it comes in here and it goes down to this board where it gets immediately split off and goes into this power supply. And this means that as long as this has power, this 5 volt power supply is operating. This 5 volt power supply then goes out here to this board, which puts out 5 volt to a Raspberry Pi. Originally it was also intended that the Raspberry Pi would pass data in through this plug and out through this plug, and then power could be turned on and off, so that you can like turn on and off whatever is hooked up to this plug, but that didn't work, so that's not being done. So it's just powering the Raspberry Pi out here, and then the 5 volt also runs over here to the relay board over here to allow the smoothie board, which is what I use in my 3D printer, to control the power supply over here. So the way that works is that the 230 volts comes in, as I mentioned, to this board here. And then apart from also going directly over here, it goes through the relay. I believe I switch both sides. I can't quite recall. But yeah, I do. I can see a break down here. So yeah, I switch both live and neutral, which is important in Denmark because you can reverse the plugs even if you get the German cables. Anyways. If you get the Danish cables, I actually think that's what I'm using, you can't. But yeah. So, I'm switching both, just in case. Then the live goes back here and back in here and then into this power supply. And that basically means that the 3D printer can turn on and off my 24 volt power supply when I want to. It's not switching on the low voltage side, it is switching the mains. So that this has absolutely no power when I don't want it to. Then when this is switched on, the 24 volt goes out to this connector here, and it also goes up to this board here, which gives me a 12 volt supply for a few fans and such. What else am I running on that? I think I was running some LEDs on it at one point, but I'm not anymore. So yeah. So yeah, that provides 12 volts for fans. So out of this I get 24 volts, 12 volts and 5 volts. And then I have one pin on this connector too to control the relay. I think that's about it. What more was there? Right, this board here has some vent holes under it, and it is spaced off of the back a bit so that it can be cooled down. And that actually helps quite a lot with these boards, I've noticed. There is a hole over here for a small fan, but that has turned out not to be necessary. So yeah, haven't really used that. Right. So let's get this closed up again. There's a small knot epoxied onto this PCB, and I don't remember why I did that. I actually, yeah, I think I was actually, like, you can see how this is melted and gooped over. This was not meant to have a knot on it. I don't know why I did it. But yeah, that's the way it is now. And then let's just ensure that that doesn't happen. And then let's close this down. Cool. Screwing the really annoying screw that has to be threaded the entire way down. Yay. This is going to give you RSI in a jiffy, that's for sure. Let's see, is the cable pinched? It is slightly pinched, so let's just fix that before we close it up. go. It will no longer be pinched. And as you can see, I'm very much into high production quality videos where I definitely will not film me screwing in 4 different screws and just not cut it. Yep, for sure. Right, so finally I'll just quickly end off by noting that if you've ever gotten those cheap Chinese LED PCUs, you might have noticed that these ears come bent. Good luck getting that to happen on these. These are 3mm thick aluminium, and they're really stiff compared to what you might be used to if you get those eBay power supplies. This, yeah, it's just a chunky beast. It's great. Right, one last thing I haven't mentioned is that to ground the frame of my 3D printer, I also just have a quick banana plug. Terminal right there, and that is just for grounding things. This is just connected straight up to mains ground. Right, so that's about it. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.